Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now, live at 4. Another snow day.
Another snow day.
My gosh.
Who's counting?
Wow.
It's something, isn't it?
You take the words right out of my mouth.
The nice thing is it's warm enough today to actually get out and enjoy the snow.
And the salt is working, too, so
Yeah.
that helps the roads. But what, we've had almost over 24 hours of a winter storm warning.
I know.
By 3 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Yep. And I think 7 days of school missed so far and counting.
And that is what, of course, is topping our news on this Tuesday. Snowplows are working around the clock to clear streets and highways. We've got the latest on this latest round of snow.
Continues to fall this afternoon. Lawmakers in Washington are looking at the latest proposal to fund a wall and avoid a government shutdown, and they get a lukewarm response from President Trump.
And some surprise visitors arrive at a town in Russia, and the town folk hope these polar bears leave soon.
That's a really interesting story.
And there's a lot of them, too.
Yep, that's coming up. Let's take a look outside today. It's a snow globe out there.
Yeah, it's been snowing on and off since, what, last night? A little break for a while, but now it's back. But the snow's almost over. And Fulton's in the backyard. Oh, look at the snow falling. We don't hear you, Dana. Turn your microphone on.
If you can find it.
Under all those layers.
Hey,
there we go.
Sorry, guys. Oh, yes, so the snow is still falling for us, and we are expecting to still continue to see snow for a few more hours. But as you can see, we are under a winter storm warning until early Wednesday morning. So even as the snow does wrap up later on this evening in the next few hours, we're actually going to have some blowing and drifting snow concerns for us as our wind speeds pick up quite a bit overnight. We're in for quite a windy start to your Wednesday. Here's a look at our high-resolution Doppler radar right now. Still some spots where we're seeing heavier snowfall. Overall, though, a little bit of a break there off towards the southwest corner of Grant County. And as everything continues to shift east, we will steadily watch our snowfall drop and fall off for us over the next few hours. But it's going to take a little bit for it to really taper off. Overall, that trend of some snow coming through is going to continue again for a little longer. Right now, we're at 26 degrees in Madison. As Susan mentioned, it's not too cold outside. If you bundle up, you can get out and enjoy the evening. 30 in Janesville and 26 in Platteville right now with the wind chill factored in. It feels closer to 15. The breeze hasn't picked up just yet. We'll hold off until later on this evening. Notice our snow trend stays close to 40% for the next few hours and then does taper off later tonight. And then we'll finally start to see a break in the snow, and that's going to help, of course, all the secondary roads improve once we finally get a break in the snowfall for us. I do want to take a look at the roads right now with our traffic update. Actually, much of Dane County looks okay, but we do have a crash actually on the Beltline towards Gammon Road right now on the on-ramp on Gammon Road. There you can see getting a little closer to the southbound side of it. And that's where that accident is, so we're likely going to see some delays along the Beltline towards Gammon Road. Nothing really right now for us. Towards Monona, things look okay. If we look up north towards Camp Douglas, of course, that section of 90 and 94 seeing major delays due to accidents. Part of it actually closed right now near Janesville. Things look okay, though, in the other direction. 5 minutes from John Nolan to 90, from John Nolan to Verona Road, only 4 minutes, and then from University Avenue to 90, just about 18 minutes. So drive times on the Beltline do look okay right now, but of course we're keeping an eye on that on-ramp southbound side on the Beltline near Gammon Road to see if there are any delays that come out of that over the next hour or so.
Slow down and take it easy.
Absolutely. There's no reason to speed through when there's any sort of moisture on the roads, let alone this much snowfall.
Yeah, there's a lot of snow out there, that's for sure. We'll check back in a few minutes. Thanks, Dana.
All right, thank you, Dana. Speaking of driving, in first at 4, heavy snow on top of icy roads caused more problems today on the highways.
We have reports of more multi-vehicle crashes on the interstate north of here. One series of crashes happened on Interstate 9094 between Toma and Camp Douglas. Scenes from the DOT cameras show many trucks off the highway, one with its cab pretty badly damaged. Another crash involving semi-trucks and cars happened about the same time further north on Interstate 94 between Osseo and Northfield. And in Wausau, a woman was trapped in her car after she crashed into a county snowplow. It happened near the city's downtown on a bridge that crosses the Wisconsin River. The driver of the car suffered a foot injury. And here in Madison, many of the roads remain slushy and slippery.
Crews have been out clearing off roads, but they're having trouble staying ahead of it as more snow continues to fall. Our Jamie Perez joins us live with a road condition update. Jamie?
Right, well, it did taper off snowing for a couple hours this morning, but as you can see, it is now snowing again, and the roads are still a little bit icy, as you can see here. this is all stuff that you could probably easily skate on. No problem. Now, I did talk to the city a little bit earlier, and remember when we told you that story yesterday about how the city was going to go around and salt all of the roads in Madison? Well, they did, and the plows crews said that it did help with their efforts in trying to grip the ground and removing the snow off to the side. But if you were out driving out and about, you probably noticed it is still a little bit slippery. With 1,700 miles of traffic-filled roads here in Madison, it can be difficult for crews to keep up with all of that, especially if it continues to snow throughout the day. Many times they have to wait until the snow can taper off before they can get their trucks back out on the roads.
Driving conditions are tough with it actively snowing like this. Even the work being done on those salt routes, even with those extra crews, is just going to be covered over again and again and again so long as it's snowing. So it's hard for us to keep up with all that.
So if the streets around your area are covered in snow and they're difficult to maneuver, do keep in mind it takes about 14 to 16 hours to get those roads cleared up. They've got a lot of ground to cover when it comes to weather like this. The city told me a majority of their plows are out right about now, and hopefully that salt from yesterday can keep any of them from getting stuck, but we'll have to wait and see for an update. I'll have an update for you at 5 and 6.
All right, Jamie, we'll see you then. Be careful out there.
Thank you, Jamie. We are not alone in this. Weather is affecting much of the nation. Snow is piling up in the Pacific Northwest. The city of Seattle is in the middle of its snowiest February in more than 70 years. Dozens of buses have been stranded in the snow and ice. On the East Coast, the snow changed to sleet and freezing rain, and that created dangerous driving conditions. The governor of New Jersey declared a state of emergency.
We continue to urge everybody to please take it slow and to proceed with caution.
Air travelers are facing another rough day. More than 2,000 flights have already been canceled and thousands delayed. Bad weather in Detroit forced a military plane bringing members of the House of Representatives to the funeral of former Congressman John Dingell to turn around. Governor Tony Evers is signaling that he will not sign a GOP middle-income tax cut.
He and Republican leaders are fighting over how to pay for that tax cut. And our Rose Schmidt is live from the state capitol, where the full assembly is taking up the Republican measure today. Rose?
Yeah, so Republican leaders say they expect to pass their $340 million yearly income tax plan today, which would provide a tax cut for middle-income families, and that would, of course, send it to the state Senate. Now, debate is underway on the floor now as the full assembly is convening to take up this bill, which would be funded through a one-time budget surplus. They touted their measure during a news conference today. Democrats argue that the bill is unfunded and was rushed through the state legislature. Evers said today he believes the budget surplus should be used for other purposes instead of this tax cut.
I think once we pass this and people across the state of Wisconsin start to contact their legislators, they start to contact the governor's office, we're hopeful it'll change his mind when it gets to his desk.
Until I see what they're actually going to pass and if they're going to pass anything, I'm kind of reluctant to say that we're abandoning ours. Of course, we always look for common ground, but we believe our proposal is the best one.
Governor Evers has a competing tax cut measure which calls for cutting taxes by about $415 million a year. Half the funds would come from capping a manufacturing and ag tax credit, something Republican leaders refuse to do. Evers hasn't said, though, how he would pay for that other half. And the Senate is scheduled to take up that GOP middle-income tax cut tomorrow, and that would, of course, send it to Governor Evers' desk.
Rose Schmidt live at the Capitol. Thank you, Rose.
Well, President Trump says that he's not happy about an immigration deal reached by a bipartisan group of lawmakers. They have until Friday to come up with a plan the president will support before parts of the federal government run out of money and shut down again. Natalie Brand is at the White House with the latest.
CBS News has learned President Trump is likely to sign a congressional border security deal, but he didn't have great things to say about it.
Am I happy at first glance? I just got to see it. The answer is no.
Congressional sources say the bipartisan deal includes nearly $1.4 billion for physical barriers, including 55 miles of border fencing, but no wall. The president had been asking for $5.7 billion.
Please, Mr. President, no one got everything they wanted in this bill, but sign it and don't cause a shutdown.
The president also says he's proud of the wall now being constructed on a big section of the southern border near the Rio Grande. Last night at a rally in El Paso, Texas, his campaign handed out Finish the Wall signs.
Just so you know, we're building the wall anyway.
When asked by reporters, the president says he's still considering whether to declare a national emergency to go around Congress to get his wall funding. But many members of the president's own party say they'll oppose a national emergency declaration, and they do not want to see another government shutdown.
It's not everything the president hoped to get, but I think it's a good step in the right direction. I hope he'll decide to sign it.
First, Congress will need to pass the new border security deal by the Friday night deadline. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
And the White House also said there are options under consideration to draw from unspent funds within the government to build the wall without declaring an emergency.
A Madison man was charged this afternoon with production of child pornography in connection to a missing Tennessee girl who was found in Wisconsin. A federal judge found probable cause to charge 31-year-old Brian Rogers and ruled that he should remain detained until trial. The judge said Rogers has shown if he wanted to flee, he could. Rogers is accused of persuading a 14-year-old Tennessee girl to record a rape and to send the video to him. Court records said after he saw the video, he didn't report it to police and instead brought the girl to Wisconsin, taking steps to avoid being tracked. On day 6 of deliberations, a federal jury reached a verdict in the trial of Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. A federal jury in Brooklyn found the 61-year-old drug lord guilty on all charges for running a massive drug smuggling operation dating back to the 1980s. Prosecutors allege Guzman was the mastermind behind the Sinaloa drug cartel, a murderous multi-billion-dollar drug gang that trafficked cocaine, heroin, meth, and marijuana into the U.S.
This conviction is a victory for every family who has lost a loved one to the black hole of addiction.
We fought like hell. We fought like complete savages and left it all on the battlefield for Joaquin Guzman.
Guzman's wife left the courtroom without speaking. His attorneys say they plan to appeal. Residents in northern Russia are being forced to stay inside after polar bears took over their town.
Of all things, police and wildlife experts cannot get the animals to leave. Gwen Baumgartner reports.
Dozens of polar bears are making themselves at home, roaming through apartment buildings and around neighborhoods in this remote region in Russia. In one town on a peninsula stretching into the Arctic Ocean, residents have spotted more than 50 bears in the last few weeks. People are posting their movements on social media, while officials have declared a state of emergency for the town of 3,000. The invasion of polar bears has some residents scared to leave their homes or send children to school after a series of attacks. The animals are common in the Arctic region, but never before have so many occupied a residential area. Experts say climate change is forcing the bears inland to look for food. Police have failed to scare off the bears, and since they're considered endangered species, it's illegal to harm them. The bears settled into the town more than 3 weeks ago and have shown no signs of moving out. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, London.
And wildlife experts say the best solution would be to sedate the bears and take them away as far as possible.
But they warn polar bears are very clever, and they're clever enough to return to where they got their last meal.
And they're protected species, so they can't they can't eliminate them.
Wow, what a story.
It really is. Don't go outside, kids. Well, News 3 Now Live at 4 continues. 4 law enforcement officers live up to the title of Hometown Heroes.
We'll head to the Capitol, where the heroes of last September's Middleton shooting are honored by the State Assembly. We'll have that story when Live at 4 continues.
This is News 3 Now Live at 4.
Well, the first responders to a September 19th shooting at a Middleton software company are honored at the state capitol.
The state assembly recognized 4 law enforcement officers as hometown heroes. Receiving a standing ovation, Tyler Lather, Richard O'Connor of the Middleton Police Department, and Dane County deputies Matthew Earl and David Lambrecht. They responded to WTS Paradigm and stopped an active shooter situation. Their life-saving efforts led to a nomination by State Representative Diane Hesselbein of Middleton.
Very humbling, I think, very humbling for all 4 of us. And we keep saying it wasn't just the 4 of us. There's numerous law enforcement officers and agencies there.
We're from different agencies here, but yet our training is all based on the same standard. So we're able to actually come together and then get the best outcome for that situation.
The officers thanked Middleton Police Chief Chuck Folke and Dane County Sheriff Dave Mahoney for their leadership, as well as the other first responders who were at the scene.
For the first time in 25 years, teachers in the Denver School District are out on strike as teachers picketed outside schools for a second day. Negotiations continued. Colorado is the 7th state where teachers have walked off the job in the past year, with Denver's teachers on the picket line. 92,000 students are now in limbo. The educators walked out of more than 160 Denver schools on Monday, a last resort, they say, after 15 months of negotiations. The dispute is largely over the school district's incentive-based pay system. It gives bonuses as high as $3,000 a year to certain teachers, like those working with students from low-income families or working in special education. The union wants to lower or eliminate some of those bonuses, freeing up money for overall teacher pay. The deal to apparently avoid a government shutdown was met with open arms on Wall Street. The Dow Industrials gained 372 points, closing at 25,425. The NASDAQ Composite Index added 106, and the S&P 500 was up almost 35. Well, teaching coding skills is becoming more popular in elementary schools.
Yeah, the earlier the better. A new device is helping blind children keep up with the curriculum. Tina Krause has the story from Cambridge, England.
I think we need 6 for the first.
Theo Holroyd loves nothing more than coding, but being blind stopped him until he got his hands on this new technology. These innovative pods hook together to trigger commands and create computer programs.
Sadly, I wasn't able to do any coding before this came along because what was happening was the class were doing Scratch and I wasn't able to join in.
Most students learn on Scratch, a visual program that involves dragging colored blocks of code around a computer screen and then watching an animation.
Okay, and then we need to loop all of that.
The invention of Code Jumper allows Theo and his friend Ollie to play and learn together.
It really helps visually impaired people to code.
The Microsoft researcher who helped develop the technology has a personal connection to the project. Cecily Morrison's son Ronan was born blind. She wanted to create something modern that combined music with a physical coding language.
Children connect these pods together to create multiple lines of code in their programs, and then they can run their code and to understand how their code is working.
Code Jumper took 4 years to develop and is now coming out of testing and into the real world.
We did it!
Allowing more friends to share their passion for coding. Tina Krause, CBS News, Cambridge, England.
That's amazing, isn't
And
it?
Microsoft has a partnership with the American Printing House for the Blind.
Microsoft plans to deliver the Code Jumper technology to schools in the U.S., Britain, Canada, and Australia this year.
Well, when we come back, do you have plain, old, unpolished fingernails? Mine are polished, but they're pretty plain.
Get with it. You gotta add bling.
Nail bling is one of the biggest fashion trends of the year. I'm Hillary Lane with styles that are over the top.
We'll take a look at this. It certainly doesn't fit the strict definition of a king cake. No dough, icing, or sugar here. But it's New Orleans at carnival time and anything goes. And this is the second carnival season that Chiba restaurant is offering its sushi king cake. It's the creation of Chef Guillermo Cruz. The particular king cake is half spicy crab inside, half spicy tuna. It's covered in tuna, salmon, yellowtail shrimp, and avocado all on top of rice. There's no plastic baby involved, like the traditional cake.
Ooh, that looks delicious, though. That's a good idea.
Yeah, it really is.
I like it.
And then we have some big news now from the News Hounds Alert Center.
Oh.
K9 correspondent Louis really excited following the first night of the Westminster Dog Show.
One of his cousins, named Bono, won top place in the toy category last night. That doesn't even look like a Havanese,
Well,
does
it's
it?
full coat. That's how they show them.
Yeah, he was a crowd favorite as he ran around for the judges for the final jog. The Havanese is the national dog of Cuba. So this guy will have an entire country cheering him on tonight for the Best in Show title. A Havanese has never won at Westminster, but odds makers are saying, are they calling him Bono or Bono?
Bono, the singer, like the
Bono,
singer.
like, okay. He might be the first one to win in the Big Apple, and Louis will be watching.
Oh, what a cutie!
That is a great-looking dog.
It's a pretty dog.
It really is. Can you imagine taking care of that coat?
Oh my gosh! So the idea there that the Havanese are supposed to have that straight long coat, is that the best? Is that okay?
That's how they show them.
They show them. Okay.
That's the breed standard. But for people who have them at home,
right?
Puppy cuts.
In this weather, can you imagine having to deal with that kind of a coat? Forget it.
Ice crusted all over.
And they show the Shih Tzus like that too.
Really?
Like Lola.
Yeah.
So.
I did not know
Good
that.
luck,
yes.
Bono.
We'll be rooting for him. Yes, short-haired dog, probably a little better. At least Penny's happier with this. So looking outside right now, we have a fresh blanket of snow. We're going to look at accumulation totals right after the break. In case you haven't stepped outside at all, it snowed today. We picked up just over 10 inches in Beaver Dam and Merrimack, almost 9 inches of snow in Madison. We're at about 7.5, a little over 8 inches though here at the station. In Partyville, over 7 inches, and in Maple Bluff, over 7 inches. So right what we were forecasting, but still seeing that snow coming down. So we may watch our totals climb just a little more. I don't know if Blue in Richland County is going to be so excited about that. He kind of has the same face that Penny did earlier this morning, the snow on my snoot, and saying, I don't know about this stuff. And then Charlie, of course, our golden doodle friend in DeForest, seemed really happy, but I think Charlie had a little better situation with the vest and booties. Now, Charlie is actually a 15-month-old golden doodle in service dog training, so he's going to have a very busy few months. The snow is kind of his break to be able to play outside for a little bit. We do still have a winter storm warning in effect for most of southern Wisconsin, a winter weather advisory for Walworth County in the southeast corner of the state until 3 a.m. So early tomorrow morning, our winter storm warning also until 3 a.m. The concern there, even as our snowfall is steadily starting to taper off, we are still going to have some blowing and drifting snow overnight as our wind speeds increase quite a bit. So right now in Madison, we still have some light snow, but up towards Watertown and moving towards Fond du Lac, there's still some heavier snowfall in that direction. Wouldn't be surprised if our accumulation totals for some areas climb quite a bit more just in the next few hours. Notice so off to the west, no snow expected for us overnight and through much of the rest of the week. Now, we may see some light flurries heading into Friday morning, but nothing like what we had in the last 24 hours. So looking at our future track, notice our breeze coming from the northwest now. Overnight, we're going to stay mostly cloudy for the first half and then steadily become partly cloudy. Temperature-wise, to start off Wednesday, will be in the middle teens, so it is going to be a little colder outside to start off the day. Our breeze is going to pick up also. We may see wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour to start off Wednesday. So keep in mind our wind chill early in the morning. Temperatures in the afternoon will be in the mid to upper 20s, so overall a fairly seasonal day. Again, we may get some sunshine for your Wednesday, and then by Thursday morning the clouds really build back in, and we do have the slight chance for some snow and flurries coming through late in the day on Thursday and into early Friday morning. Not a great chance for us right now, but just a little bit might roll on through for us. Overall tonight our snow is going to gradually end, but even as it does wrap up, we do have the concern, of course, for any blowing or drifting snow. That light snow on top may become a little hazardous for some of the more rural roadways. Temperatures will drop into the teens. We're looking at that west-northwest breeze to be anywhere from 15 to 30 miles per hour, and that's our sustained wind. And again, gusts could get up to 40 miles per hour for us. Tomorrow, plan on some sunshine, partly sunny sky expected, still breezy outside, the breeze becoming more westerly and just 10 to 20 miles per hour throughout the day. It is going to be colder though with our afternoon highs in the mid-20s. Today we're a little closer to 30 early on in the day. Looking ahead through the next 10 days, any snow that does fall is certainly going to stay for us. We're looking at the highs again tomorrow in the middle 20s. We'll get close to freezing on Thursday for Valentine's Day. Make your Valentine's Day plans, guys. We're looking at a little bit of snow potentially into Friday morning, but it is just a slight chance for us. We see a drop towards the end of the week and into the weekend as our temperatures will fall overnight into the single digits, and that's going to carry us into next week. Afternoon highs will stay slightly below average. We should be closer to 30 degrees actually for our afternoon highs. Rather, we'll be in the low 20s for the weekend and the start of next week. But again, staying below freezing, it is going to lead to that snowfall sticking around for quite some time for us. It's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Great.
Yay.
Penny likes the snow?
Penny loves the snow.
Well, she's a lab. I mean, she can get around.
She's a lab. She went, she likes to bound through it, which I don't know if that's entirely necessary. She's a little short and small for a lab, but she's just leaping and going through it. Now, Lola and Louie.
They love it, right?
Yeah, they do, but
really?
They splot. They splot down, yes.
We love seeing your videos, by the way, of all your pets in the snow, so keep sending them. They're fun. They're really fun.
Dave and I are sitting in the weather center earlier, and they're just audible. Did you see Charlie, Dave? We're going back and forth. So, yes, the pet photos that have been coming in, Facebook and Twitter, and, of course, our tips email and through the weather app, it's just been nonstop, and we love them. Also, the little kids going out all bundled up. Make sure they're bundled up and they're safe. But, of course, it's like a Christmas story with the jackets that they have.
We haven't had snow like this in quite a while, so.
It's now over where we should be for the year, so, and we are not done with winter yet.
We're not?
No, we got a little more time.
All right. Let me see. Oh, yeah, your nails are nice.
Yes, I did paint them.
Blinged out nails. They're one of the most popular beauty trends right now.
Hillary Lane shows us some of the most outrageous looks.
When Liz Mina is looking for a little pick-me-up, she heads to Jenny's Spa in the Bronx to get her nails done. But this isn't your average manicure.
Everyone just knows you're fabulous just by your nails.
Mina was inspired to bling out her nails when Cardi B burst on the scene. The rapper is known for her extravagant nail designs. Jenny Bowie is the mastermind behind Cardi's creations.
Bling, a lot of bling.
Bowie created the nail look for Cardi's Grammy appearance and for her Pepsi commercial that aired during the Super Bowl.
And that commercial's on all around the world. How does that make you feel? I feel like shaking.
The bling manicure has exploded in popularity. A search on Instagram will turn up thousands of over-the-top styles. Style editor at Elite Daily, Teresa Massoni, says it's all about sending a message.
Manicures are, a new outlet for people to express their creativity. So I think with this trend especially, I think people are just finding this as a way to, really showcase their fun personality.
Mina admits the extravagant look isn't exactly practical.
You'll eventually stab yourself in the eye once, or probably rip a pair of stockings.
But she's happily adapted to the long nail lifestyle.
So when you walk down the street, how do you feel?
Awesome. Super awesome. You're just strutting, and it gives you a little confidence boost and makes you happy.
Nothing like some bling to add some sparkle to the day. Hillary Lane, CBS News, the Bronx, New York.
Don't scratch your eye.
It's like artwork, but how do you get dressed and do other things?
Put contact? Yes,
Yeah,
other things.
right. A bling manicure can cost anywhere between $25 to a few $100s, depending on the style that you pick.
Scratch my back? That'd be good for
That would be good, yeah.
Rip your shirt right off. Well, so many chocolates to choose from for your Valentine's Day baking.
A chef explains the difference in using chips or chunks in your favorite cookie recipe.
Good.
That's when Live at 4 continues.
Here's a live look at downtown Madison as the snow continues to fall.
It's a pretty shot,
It is
isn't it?
pretty, it is. Just be careful of driving. Well, nothing says Valentine's Day like chocolate, and we're not just talking about a box of chocolate, but also handmade chocolate goodies baked from the heart.
Consumer Reports suggests which baking chocolate you should choose for your Valentine's Day desserts. Here's Leah Linscheid.
Kate Palacio is an avid baker, turning out weekly cakes and cupcakes for her friends and family.
I made heart-shaped brownies, and I'm going to put ganache on them for Valentine's Day.
The type of chocolate you should use depends on what you're making. Consumer Reports home editor and trained chef Paul Hope's first tip: you don't have to use the most expensive chocolate.
Paying more won't necessarily get you better tasting chocolate. If you're going to bake it into a recipe anyway, chances are most people won't be able to tell the difference. Instead, save the really fancy stuff for embellishments or snacking.
Consumer Reports says that baking chocolate for even the most elaborate desserts still comes from one of these categories. Want to make brownies or fudge? Use unsweetened chocolate. Also called bitter chocolate, it doesn't have sugar, flavorings, or added fat, and it gives your recipe a strong chocolate flavor. Cocoa powder is made of the liquid form from crushed cocoa beans, processed to remove most of the fat and ground into a powder. It's easy to keep on hand due to its long shelf life, and it can be used for hot chocolate and a variety of desserts. Semi-sweet or bittersweet chocolate is made with sugar and at least 35% chocolate liquor. These are great for brownies, cakes, and dipping. You'll see a lot of white baking chips or morsels in the baking aisle, but real white chocolate contains cocoa butter, so check the label. And milk chocolate is made with milk solids along with added sugar and fat. Its sweet flavor is best for desserts where the taste can stand on its own. And of course, the magic ingredient in any chocolate dessert is love.
Leah Linscheid reporting. Consumer Reports says whatever you buy, double wrap your chocolate and keep it in a cool, dry place.
That's good advice. If you refrigerate it, keep it away from anything that can transfer an odor, like cheese or fish.
You like your chocolates.
Yes, I do. I certainly do. There is no bad chocolate.
There's not. Well, still to come at 4, we're hitting the road with Harvey Briggs.
When we come back, we're getting behind the wheel of the truck of the year, the Ram 1500. It is big. That's when Live at 4 continues.
4:45, so the road's starting to slow down just a little bit downtown. We are seeing brake lights for almost every major intersection in Madison. Looking towards Monona, though, at least on Monona Drive and southbound on 51 look okay. As far as your drive times actually along the Beltline closer to Gammon Road, still going at about 47 miles per hour. But notice, of course, as you go further east, those speeds reduce just a little more, around 151, closer to 23 miles per hour. Again, this is all eastbound. Westbound actually looks fairly okay through much of the downtown area. South County looks fine. Again, up north of the Dells towards Camp Douglas, 90 is closed on the eastbound side due to some crashes up there in that direction, weather related. And Janesville looks okay. A few brake lights downtown, but no accidents and, of course, no major congestion to report. From Janesville to the Beltline will take you just about 28 minutes. Middleton to Sauk City, 19, and then downtown to Sun Prairie, about 21 minutes. So your drive times overall looking okay for your Tuesday commute. Of course, please take it just a little slower as the roads in some spots are still a little sloshy right now for this evening.
All right, Dana, thank you. 2 African ground hornbills escaped from their enclosure at the Honolulu Zoo in Waikiki. A tree fell on the enclosure in the morning and they got out. Armed with a good old giant net, the crews attempted to catch the birds, but they were too quick for them. Zookeepers will continue their attempts. At last check, though, both birds were still on the loose.
Well, that's in Hawaii. How bad can it be?
Boy, they're going to be hard to catch.
Sure, beautiful. Though,
they are. They really are. Well, when a vehicle starts winning every Best Of award, people take notice.
That's what's happening with the 2019 Ram 1500. It has won virtually every Truck of the Year award this year. Is it ready to take on Ford and GM? Harvey Briggs thinks so as we go behind the wheel in the Ram 1500. So you got your Ford guys, you got your Chevy guys, we got a divided nation.
Yep, and now you got your Ram guys, and they're coming on strong in the awards, in sales, and, you know, people
size?
Really, yeah, size. It ain't small.
It ain't small, you can say that again, and it's got a Hemi.
We've got a 5.7-liter Hemi V8 in this thing. You've got 4-wheel drive. You've got all the room in the world in this crew cab, and you've got a truck that is tall enough to lean on for a guy like me.
The Ram 1500 has a reputation as a tough and dependable pickup truck, and now completely redesigned for 2019, it hasn't abandoned what it does best. Optional coil springs in the rear delivers a smooth ride without sacrificing towing or hauling capabilities. So theoretically, this could be your daily driver.
It could be your daily driver, but you better have a very big parking space.
You know, we could have taken this to a farm, a construction site, or a subdivision.
Exactly. You know, you can wear you can wear a suit and a tie with this truck, or you can wear your Carhartts. These trucks are being used more and more as family vehicles because of the amount of space you have in these. I mean, you've got plenty of room for 5 full-size adults back here. Look at the leg room back here. This is bigger, as big as a Rolls-Royce Ghost back here. And then you can flip up. You've got a lot of storage underneath here.
And it's not just the room that makes the Ram stand out from the competition.
This is the best interior in pickup trucks by a long shot. This is why this truck has been winning all the awards.
The centerpiece of the interior is the 12-inch Uconnect screen. It controls everything. Think of it as like a tablet in your dashboard.
You can have your radio up here, and you can put, say, your climate settings down here and control that. And if you say, well, I really want these up top, then you just hit that and it flops.
And then you got some manly buttons, don't you?
Oh, yeah, for all your good stuff. So if you want to go into tow haul mode, you hit that button.
And the quality doesn't stop there.
Look at the stitching on here, the leather. And it's not just on these surfaces where you expect it, but right here, this grab handle. This is one of those little touches, those little things that you go, they really started to think about it in terms of a more premium vehicle. Yeah.
A premium vehicle with premium pricing. The basic model of the 1500, the Tradesman, is $34,000 for 2-wheel drive. Then you go up through the Bighorn and the Lone Star to the Laramie and Rebel, up to our test model, a top-of-the-line limited crew cab. With the $1,000 optional Ram box storage area, it clocks in at $68,000 and change. And somehow that's a bargain?
Someone used to pay $40,000 for a pickup truck and $50,000 for a nice car. And now they get both in one. So maybe it's a deal.
The philosophy of Harvey Briggs.
I would have loved to have tried to drive that thing. Do you think I would have been intimidated by it, or
Yeah,
does it drive sort of like an SUV?
It drives like a car.
Okay.
That's the thing about it, but it is immense. And you got to be, there's cameras that go all around. It has self-parking, but
Yeah.
as Harvey said, try and park it.
Oh, wow. Next time I want to try to drive one of those.
All right, Harvey is in Palm Springs right now.
Oh, lucky duck.
Test driving BMW, so he'll join us in a couple of weeks with a Mini.
Oh, maybe I'll try that one.
Just the opposite of this.
That sounds fun.
All right, we'll be right back with a final check of your forecast. Gee, snow.
Snow.
You imagine?
So much snow. Yes, we still have light snow falling for us right now. That winter storm warning is still in effect until 3 a.m. A winter weather advisory in the southeast corner of the state also until 3 a.m. because even after the snow does stop falling, we are expecting, of course, to deal with some blowing and drifting snow. So that'll be our concern as we head forward for the next few days, or the next few hours, excuse me. By the time we get into tomorrow morning, though, we'll actually see a little bit of sunshine, so it'll be a little nicer outside for our Wednesday.
But up to 40-mile-an-hour winds.
Correct, wind gusts. So our sustained winds anywhere from 15 to 30 miles per hour, but those wind gusts up to 40 is certainly possible.
And that'll blow it around, that's for sure.
Yes.
All right, we're done for a while? A couple days?
Thursday we might see some flurries,
Okay.
but
Tomorrow here live for Lisa Briggs from the Roost Company will be here. She says it's time to think spring seeds.
And it is tax time. Consumer Reports has some tips as we all get ready to file our tax returns. That's coming up tomorrow on Live at 4.